Welcome to Count Stackula on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about my pre-33 gold collection and why I only buy graded coins. Let's get into it. Alright, so what you see before you is a very slim selection of pre-33 gold in my collection, and that is because this type of coin tends to be on the expensive side, as you might imagine. I'm not going to give a huge history lesson on pre-33 and all the different varieties. That would be nice, but there's plenty of good videos out there that you can find information about what pre-33 gold is. I'm going to assume that you already know. But what you may not be familiar with is that with pre-33 gold, you have basically two categories. You have the raw and you have the graded. And there's a big difference in price range between a raw pre-33 gold coin and a graded one. So let's take a look at the first one here, which is a first year of issue 1908 $2.25 Indian head eagle. And this is a beautiful small piece, roughly 1/10 of an ounce of gold, but definitely packs a lot of value. The 1908 is definitely a sought after year, being the first year of issue. Most of the dates are low mintage and hard to come by, and some are extremely rare, such as the 1911 D, strong D mint mark, and you would see that right over there if it was present on this coin. But what I find interesting about it is that the design is very different from a lot of US Mint releases in that it's an incuse design, meaning that rather than being a high relief where the devices are protruding proud from the coin, it's actually engraved inward. So that is what's called incuse. And I think that because it was a different type of minting technology, it tends to often get overlooked as a US Mint coin because most people aren't very familiar with this design. We have this chief portrait, which I think is awesome. And it's the reason why I started with the Indian coins first, because when you're trying to create for example, a type set in gold, you definitely want to have a strategy on what to get. And if you're looking at only graded coins, well, then you probably want to get some of the more rare ones first, as they tend to rise in value frequently. And what's nice about these is that they hold their value very well. They're really sought after coins, even if it's among a small numismatic community. And this is a MS62, meaning it's mint state 62, which is a kind of a low-grade mint state coin, but these are incredibly hard to find in high grade. And when you do, they are worth a fortune. So I think the highest grade you can achieve with one of these is probably a 65. I don't know if there's many finer. Maybe a 67 exists, I don't know. But you'd have to check up on the NGC and PCGS registry to find out. Well, this is actually an ANACS coin, and if you're familiar with graded coins, this is known as a Soapbox. And it's actually smaller in size to a typical holder that you find from PCGS or NGC. And it was an earlier type of holder, which I find is kind of cute, and it fits the coin well. So what's interesting also about these early date holders is that although ANACS grading company isn't always seen as the most trustworthy or reliable source for numismatics today, back in the day, they were the first. And they also had pretty fair grading standards back then. And we can take a closer look at this coin under a scope. Here, let me turn on the light for you, see if that helps, to get a better perspective of what's going on. And you can tell that there's not a lot of hairlines on this coin. Let's see if we can really zoom in. There's maybe that one hit by the star above the nose, but otherwise you can tell it's definitely a mid-state coin. There's not a lot of hairlines, no cleaning, no indication of cleaning, and it's a very nice example. That's why I like this coin. So I think it's definitely fair for the grade. Easily a 62 by modern day PCGS and NGC standards. You've got another hit on the reverse of the coin above the feathers of the eagle. And but again, very minimal hairlines, no apparent cleaning, harsh cleaning taking place on this coin. And for gold, that's pretty amazing, because gold being a soft metal, it really does show its age. So this is a really nice example for a $2.50, and I'm glad to have it in my collection. And you know, what was interesting about getting these coins is that you really have to kind of shop around to figure out what's going to fit your budget, what's going to fit your tastes, because with these more, we'll call them investment coins, I suppose, you know, you want to get something that you really can appreciate. And I really like the Indian designs of the early American coins, and for me, it's worth paying the extra premium on top of the intrinsic value of the gold to get something with some really historical significance. And I wanted to get some better dates and some key dates with this collection, so I started with the first year. But some of them are really out of reach for most collectors and stackers, and so you have to kind of be budget conscious when getting into graded coins such as these. Let's take a look at the big brother of the quarter eagle and look at the $5 or half eagle. And if you're familiar with the dates of these coins, you'll know that the 1909D is actually the highest mintage of the entire series. Most of the coins in other years are in the 500,000 or below mintage range, whereas they minted over 1 million of these 1909 D mint mark coins. So it's basically an identical coin as the quarter, just it's double the size. So I'll put the statistics and the gold quantity down below, as well as the mintage of these coins, so you can see. But I got this one because simply it was affordable. I knew I wanted a higher grade, an MS63. I didn't want to get anything below 62, and to be honest, it's really hard to find anything in a reasonable price range for any one of these half eagles. And you know, I just wanted kind of to fill out the type set, I suppose. But this is the kind of gold that I do want to be stacking. However, it is hard for a stacker to pay such a higher premium because these are really collector coins. And let's take a closer look under the scope at why these are much more expensive than their bullion counterparts that are typically sold for cleaned prices. And you'll see that, again, not a lot of damage or hairlines. In fact, it still has some of that original mint luster that you can see. And you know, it's a little harder to see that with gold coins than it is with some silver coins. Of course, you've got a few hits on the face there, on the cheek, but they're very subtle. And you know, so you also have to obviously look into the detail of the feathers to see what's going on. But you know, looking at the stars is a good indication as well of the detail of the coin. Sorry about the not in focus, not completely in focus there. There we go. That's a little bit better. And you know, why I love these particular coins also in graded form is because they are faked quite often. And one of the indicators you want to always be aware of when you're buying something like this is look for the artist's initial engraving mark there above the date that you can see, the BLP. And that is usually missing in the fakes. But yeah, you can see maybe one or two hits there near the star. But you know, let's take a look at the reverse under the scope and see what else we can find. But yeah, I think, you know, looking closely, I would say that PCGS was being a little lenient, but you know, these are really hard to find in higher grades. And you know, if it has a few hit marks that are maybe less visible by the naked eye, but under magnification, you can see them, you know, that still will give you a mint state coin. And you know, I wonder if that one mark that we're looking at above the head of the eagle, if that's, I don't know if you can see it very well. So lighting's just not working for us, but try again. But I wonder if that's a scratch or if there's a dye issue there, because you know, a lot of these early coins had dye gouges and things to be aware of. But as you can see, some light shatter over by In God We Trust. But otherwise, it's a very beautiful design, this early American gold piece, and that's why I just had to have it. I love these pre-33 gold coins, and I need them in high grade. You know, I'm just not a fan of clean coins at all. I avoid them like the plague. I don't want them in my stack. You know, I'd rather trade them out for a modern eagle or a buffalo. When it comes to the numismatic coins, they have to actually be numismatic, and meaning that they have to retain that numismatic value. And the only way you're going to retain that numismatic value is if you have a solid grade on the coin. So many of you may not be familiar with these types of coins. This is actually, to think that the US Mint made gold coins this small, literally like the size of the head of my pinky or the fingernail, to think that they made gold coins this small back in the day. This is from 1853. This is actually the oldest coin I have in my collection in mint state. And it is a $1 gold piece. And it's hard to believe that it survived that long in mint state, but that's pretty impressive. I like this piece a lot because of it actually has some toning, and you can see that luster very well on the piece. Now, this is not an in-use coin like the Indian, so it's easier to see that original mint luster. But let's go ahead and the light on my magnifier is kind of fading, but let's take a closer look at this beautiful dollar. So it's got the Liberty head design just like you would see on the 20 or the 10. It's very similar, but now you can see that almost bluish toning on the rim, and it goes to a more orangey color as it kind of bullseyes inward towards Liberty. And yeah, it's just a stunning piece. These are, you know, a little bit over a gram, I think. I'll put down below the exact gold content. But, you know, this particular piece I bought because of the toning. Not necessarily for the gold content, but also for the historical significance. It's such a beautiful coin and so old, and it's amazing, you know, when you have these numismatic coins, they can often, you know, even an Indian head penny from the late 1800s in mint state can be worth as much as a gold piece like this. And it's almost as if the metal content doesn't matter. It's all about the numismatic value. I find that interesting in our hobby. There it goes. There's the light. So, you know, and I think that, again, I've said it before, but I can't believe that a coin can survive 130-something years in mint state like this. It must have been, you know, in the collector's hands the entire time, because gold being so soft, you know, it would have. It's almost a guarantee that it's gonna get circulated and messed up. So these are rare coins. It's hard to find. Now, let's talk a little bit about pricing. You might be wondering. At the time when I purchased them, actually in 2022, these coins, I think I paid something close to $700 for that, maybe $650, which is quite a hefty sum, as you might imagine. You could get several 10th ounce gold pieces for that type of price. Moving on to the $5, I pretty much just got the cheapest yet highest grade version that I could find, and I still paid roughly $1,150 for that, which is pretty enormous considering it's slightly less than a quarter ounce of gold. And then looking at the $1 gold piece, I think I paid something like $650 for that, which is, you know, maybe a little high. All these prices, they're not necessarily gray sheet, but you pretty much have to contend with other bidders in an auction or potential buyers to acquire nice pieces like this. So that is the story with my pre-33, and I'd love to add more. This is the type of gold that I would like to be collecting if I had deep pockets and infinite money. I definitely would put more attention into pre-33, but since I don't have those kind of deep pockets, I'm gonna probably acquire a piece very slowly, maybe 1 or 2 a year, and try to, you know, get somewhat of a typeset going on. But I do prefer the Indian head gold pieces to the Liberty heads, but you know. Other topic that I'd like to just graze over with the channel is the direction in which I intend to go in 2023 with the channel. As I adjust the camera here, sorry about that. Basically, I would like to get into silver pouring. That's something that I've wanted to do for a long time. I've been thinking about it for over a year and planning how I might want to get into the hobby. It's a little bit more difficult for me to pour silver in my current location, but yeah, it's something that I've wanted to do and put my creative potential behind, because I am an artist and I want to see my creations come to life in metal, in silver specifically, and it's something that I've been slowly working towards, like over the past few months and year. So I hope that at some point in 2023 I will be showing some of my silver pours on the channel, and that we can potentially even do some auctioning off of those pieces. So I look forward to that growing in this YouTube channel environment with silver pouring and as well as coins. So I want to thank you so much for watching another one of my videos, and please remember to hit that like, smash the subscribe button, check the links down below if you're interested in any of my 3D printed boxes for graded coins, and I will see you all in the next one. Please remember to comment, and Count Stackula is out.